Alabama football has tossed its hat in the ring for a huge 5-star player. Not only that, they're leading the charge. Stick around. Let's talk about it. This is Way Offsides. 3, 2, let's go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to your favorite sports show on YouTube. Not just sports show, Alabama sports show. We changed the background up because I'm feeling a little tropical. And I'm feeling a little tropical because we're going to talk about something pretty awesome. I think a lot of you probably know just based on the thumbnail who I'm talking about and what this video is going to be about. But we're still going to do it anyway because you guys love talking recruiting. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Before we go any further, there's a ton of stuff going on. I expect a commitment to later today for Alabama. I won't tell you who just yet. Stick around later in the video and I will tell you who I think it's going to be. We're covering all of your recruiting information, everything you need, visits, flips, commitments, visits elsewhere, whatever you need. We're covering them all. So please make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell. You won't miss a second of it. Now, let's go back to the thumbnail. You guys can see this. That is obviously Kalen DeBoer. And who is that guy with him? I don't know. You tell me. Put it in the comment section. Who is it? Who are we talking about? Alabama recently hosted another loaded group of guys to the Capstone in Tuscaloosa this past weekend, coming off of several other visits the weekend before. They've got several visits coming up this weekend, and then the following week will be kind of like that crown at the very end, the cherry on top. Now, one guy that took a visit this weekend that everybody's kind of talking about, and I really think Alabama kind of moved the needle on, is 5-star DB. Five-star safety, Jaira Edwards. That's obviously who that was in the photo. Now, coming off that first week, everybody was talking about Jet Washington. Washington went and visited Oregon last weekend, and now it seems that his trajectory has changed a little bit. I think it's always was Oregon was Washington, and I've been of the philosophy that you weren't going to get Jaira Edwards and Jet Washington in the same class. It just wasn't going to happen, and that's okay. That's all right. Now, how is Alabama selling this position to a guy like Jaira Edwards? Well, it's simple. He may end up being one of the only safeties, if not the only safety they take in this class, which would mean that his chance for playing time is premier. And so with that, coming off of his official visit, there's some things that really resonated with Edwards. If you guys watch On 3, Andrew Bone, he's pretty great. He talked about getting a text from Edwards' brother, and they were just really enamored and immersed into what Alabama was doing on that recruiting visit. And it resonated well. Now, here's the problem. Here's the only disclaimer I have about Jaira Edwards. You have two other schools scheduled for visits, one on the 13th, one on the 20th. And both of those are primary NIL schools. They are big NIL schools. One is going to be Texas A&M next weekend, or this coming up weekend on the 13th. And then following that, it'll be Oregon on the 20th. So we'll wait and see what happens. But Alabama right now is sitting in a really, really good spot. Most recruiting agencies have Alabama leading for Edwards. He's leading on 3 right now at about 74%. And so what does this mean? Well, let's look at it and let's talk about the 5-star safety a little more. So Edwards is he's a big dude. He's not as big as Jet Washington. He's 6'1", 205 pounds. He is the number 2 safety in the country. He's the number 3 player out of Maryland. You can see the highlights. That is from inside the U. I want to make sure that we give proper credit there. But Edwards would be a huge cornerstone of this class. I mean, this would be a a big time land for Kalen DeBoer. There are some folks that have come out previous to his visit and said that they think Alabama's going to be the school for him. So I feel really, really good about where Alabama is. He's the number 21 player nationally, just an all out freak of an athlete. I mean, this would seriously, when you look at what Alabama is likely to produce across the board, 5-star running back Xavier Crowell, Sadarian Morgan, potentially Xavier Griffin. They're going to have a couple of other guys who kind of get that bump on top of already having Jordan Edmonds. They're in play for just a couple of other 5-stars. I think you've got Tristan Keys on campus this week. I don't know where they really stand with him. I don't think the outlook long term is good there. But I just think that this could be one of the ones that we look back in a couple of years and go, that guy was really what we're used to seeing at that safety position for Alabama. He draws some comparisons, it looks like, to Landon Collins. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think Alabama's in a really good position here. Um, we'll see what happens after he comes off the Oregon visit. That can always shift quickly. Things like that do happen a lot just because Oregon is a school that's known to throw some money around. But let's talk about him. Andrew Ivins on 247 calls him a punishing defender. That should offer some alignment flexibility at his next stop. He owns a college-ready build. Like we said, he's a 6'1", 205 already with some promising features and tested off the chart spring before his junior year. Spent much of his 11th grade campaign deployed as an oversized slot and did nothing but make plays for one of the nation's top prep defenses. He triggers downhill in the snap of a finger. There's that Landon Collins, so, I mean, there's the comparison. Landon Collins was insane coming downhill and run support and frequently arrives with violence. We like that word here at Way Offsides, violence. Who doesn't want a violent safety playing for them at Alabama, right? And so, I mean, Edwards, he projects as an all-around defensive playmaker that can make an impact on Saturdays. He probably will on Sundays as well at some point in time. And so I think Bama's in a really good spot here. Again, I think just the fact that Alabama has plenty of room in this class at the safety position. Oregon already has a couple of guys at that position. They're going to get a Jet Washington if Alabama doesn't. So it just makes sense that Bama would be sitting in a prime position here, and just I mean they're leading. They're leading, and it's not particularly close right now. That, of course, we always tell you when we're talking about recruits and recruiting, you follow the visits with that A&M visit as well this coming up weekend. That's something to watch. But Edwards is set, I believe. Let's see here. I don't know that he has a commitment date set. Let's check. I'll check for you really quick. July 5th he does. Absolutely. Excuse me. So also want to apologize. I'm a little under the weather today. So if you can hear it in my voice and I'm kind of stuttering a little bit, not feeling my best, but that's all right. I'm still here bringing you content because you guys are what matters. And so please watch, please share, please subscribe. I'm really excited about this one. I think this one actually puts Alabama in contention for a number one class. We've said that if Bama wants to push for that class, they've got to land Morgan. They've got to land Crowell. They've got to land Griffin. And I think they're in pretty good position for all of those. But they also need to probably bring in somebody additionally. Jair Edwards could be that guy. And so, there are a lot of folks over at 247 that have said that they think Bama's going to be the school when it's all said and done. Also, keep in mind, it's only June. He's going to commit in July. There's a long way to go till December. This would, though, I mean, Linguist is doing really good work back there recruiting these kids. Him, Coach Cap, a lot of the defensive recruiters are doing an amazing job. So tell me what you think. Does Bama land him? Would you rather have him or Jet Washington? A lot of folks in our X chat have talked about that. A lot of folks kind of lean Jet Washington because there's a little bit of a size advantage. I think in terms of comparison, there's not much of a difference. I like a safety who can come up and run support. That just reminds me of that old Nick Saban style ball. We had a lot of guys who were like that. Vinny Sinceri, like I said, Landon Collins, Jackson. There are a lot of guys that were really, really good at safety coming up and run support. And there's nothing that feels better than watching a guy in crimson just come up and just lay a running back out at the line of scrimmage or behind it. It just, oh man, it feels really good to see. You guys remember the LSU game, the Leonard Fournette game? So anyway, thanks for sticking around. Absolutely love each and every one of you. You guys are the best. You're the reason we keep doing this. Be sure to tell your friends and family about us. And as always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.